Well, hello, folks, and welcome to the Dieter Melhorn Fishing Podcast. I hope you're having a good day, whatever day it is that you happen to be listening to the show. This is the second podcast, number 2 of 2024. I am trying to do one a week. That is my dream and my goal this year, to focus on putting one out midweek every week, just to, keep you up to date on what's going on in the fishing world and talk about some topical stuff like we just talked about with the young man that caught that huge catfish down on Lake Waterbury in South Carolina, 15-year-old. If you didn't see it, check it out. It's pretty good. The story on that, a 94-pound blue cat, biggest catfish that has been weighed in out of this river basin here. So not a state record. State record still for South Carolina is 113 pounds out of Lake Moultrie, I believe, down Santee Cooper Lake. But yeah, that kind of stuff. We're going to have some interviews with some guests. I'm going to get more and more guests on here. Those are the podcasts that I really like. I really like doing. I really enjoy, and it's the kind of content that I like seeing in other places when I watch stuff. So we're going to try to knock out a bunch of those this year. And yeah, so pretty good stuff on the menu coming up. And that's kind of what today's podcast is about. It's changes, rumors, and lies in the catfish world. That's going to be the title of this one. Just stuff that's going on, stuff that's being talked about, stuff that's teetotal lies. Some of it's going to be about, heck, my channel. Some of it will be, but the majority of it's going to be about tournaments, the tackle industry, rod and reel industry, all that kind of stuff. We're just going to talk about some stuff that has been rumbling and coming up. And CatCon. CatCon is coming up here in February. We're going to talk about that a little bit just to kind of bring you up to date on everything going on there. And so it may be a little bit longer one than normal. Drop me a comment if you guys watch this on YouTube. Because let me say that real quick. You can watch this podcast on YouTube. There are some folks that only know it from the audio podcast world, and it's on all the platforms out there. But you can watch it. There's a video version that I put up. If you watch it on YouTube, drop a comment on the length of podcast that you like. I know a lot of people will pull it up on YouTube and listen to it driving down the road, and that's pretty cool. I do that myself with podcasts and shows that I listen to. Drop me a comment. I kind of, with them, I kind of like that. The ones I watch, that 35, 45 minute range, sometimes the longer ones, it's like, man, that's only good if I'm on a flight somewhere. Plus, I'm kind of ADD, so I will start to get distracted if it goes too long. Come back and I have to watch half of it another time. Let me know. Drop me a comment and let me know. So to that point, real quick, and we'll get started. Thanks for coming back if you're a regular listener, a fan of the channel. If you're not, just go to the website, DieterMelhornFishing.com. Not if you're not a fan. Well, you can go there too. You can give me a comment. Go to the website, DieterMelhornFishing.com. There is links on there to everything I do, the YouTube channel, the podcast, the guide business that I run here in the Carolinas. I'm a licensed charter captain. I got a guide business if you're looking for a guide trip. Also got links to the gear. People ask about the gear we use and stuff. There's links on there in the gear section. Most of all, what I was getting to a minute ago, if you like the podcast, want to leave a comment, even if you don't like it, you just want to call and tell me I'm fat, stupid, and ugly, that's fine. Send me a comment, get it out of your system. There's a contact section on the website where you can do that. So without any further ado and rambling and stuff, let's get into some stuff that I'm seeing happening coming up. People are talking about rumors. This is the rumor section. The first part of it's the rumor section anyway. And that has to do with some catfish reel stuff going on. We all know there's a catfish rod for everybody out there. We'll talk about the catfish rods here in a minute. But there's some stuff from the rumor mill that there's going to be some new catfish reels coming out in 2024. Some round reels, the level winds, the ones that look like this. But this is not one of them. This one's already out. We'll talk about that one in a minute. The level wind world may be having some reels popping out. Nothing... I don't think it's going to be anything super duper spectacular or different from what we've seen, but I'm hearing that possibly Mad Katz may be coming out with a reel. Don't know if that's true or not. Heard some rumors, some talk about it, some stories, legends, and who knows, by the time this podcast goes up, they may be out, and you can call me a prophet, and just that I, was able to come up with this. Now, I'm hearing that rumor, and it would not surprise me. They've got Mad Katz has a wide selection of multiple rods. It's the most colorful section of rods on the entire planet. It is just a lot of them, a lot of different colors. If you like pink, they got pink. If you like dark blue, they got dark blue. If you like all those colors put together, they got a rod like that. So, would not surprise me. My guess is if they come out with some, they're going to be the same way. They're going to be, a lot of colors to them. So we'll see what happens in that world. I got a feeling if they do, may be wrong here, I got a feeling they're going to be a rebadged, rebranded, rewrapped version of some of the Ming Yangs and that kind of stuff. That's pretty much where all the real stuff has been coming from that comes out in this catfish space. They're basically just a rebuilt kind of version of those, and you put your own brand in them. I could have my own reel. I've had those companies reach out to me before about doing it. I don't want to enter into that space. It's not my wheelhouse. It's not what I want to do. But the big thing with all of them is, like I've said before, just like with the Ancient Mariners that I used, was just what kind of warranty do you get with them? What happens when something goes wrong? Who can you go to? And I would feel sure if Mad Katz is doing this, that I got a feeling they're probably going to put some type of structure in place. They're probably going to have their own in-house service center, I would assume. That would be, I think anybody who comes out with a reel needs to have an in-house service place for it. So that's my business advice to you guys, and some of the people we're going to talk about here in a second, is that you have some kind of in-house service center. Because I reached out to Lose. I did some videos here recently on the Lose reels, and just for giggles, I reached out to the company and said, hey, I got a Lose reel. What do I do to get it repaired? Now, Lose is a big company. I think they're owned by Pure Fishing now, or one of the big conglomerates. So they're big time. And everything they do, they outsource to. They have some certified vendors or whatever on their website. And everything goes somewhere else to be worked on. So it's handed off to somebody else. And, that may be good, that may be bad, I don't know. I know these are independent businesses, so maybe they have more of a desire and incentive to do a really good job. I don't know, but I would think that if you are somebody like a Mad Katz, or this other one that I think needs to come out with a reel, and that's Catch the Fever. We'll get to that in a second. I think they need to come out with a reel at some point. I think having some type of service center to get these things taken care of is important. So hint to any of you guys that do it, you better have your ducks in order in that world. Back to Catch the Fever, another rod company here in the Carolinas. Mad Katz is in the Carolinas. Catch the Fever's in the Carolinas. I don't think they're that far apart. There may not be 100 miles between them. I think Catch the Fever needs a reel. They've got a lot of rods. They've got a very diverse selection of not just catfish rods, but they got striper rods, and they've also got crappie fishing rods that I actually use perch fishing and all the fishing I use. They've got a nice diverse selection of rods. I think they need some reels for this stuff, because the next company I'm going to talk about has done that, and I think it's good. I think there's a lot of people that like to buy something in combo instead of, and I get emails and texts about this. Instead of going, well, I'm going to buy this rod over here, and then I'm going to go over here and buy this reel. I think it would be nice to have something that is just a package deal. I think it's easier to do. And I think it's cool that it's your brand. Instead of putting an Ancient Mariner on a Catch the Fever rod, or, have your own brand of rod. Because, people, the thing that these companies, whether it be Mad Katz, Catch the Fever, these endemic companies to the catfish world, are going to have to do to have success, is build that brand identity, brand loyalty, lifestyle connection to their brand. And when you do that, people want to wear your Catch the Fever shirt, your Catch the Fever hat. They want to have your Mad Katz reel, your Mad Katz rod. They want everything. I mean, you could sell Mad Katz toilet paper if you wanted to. The true fans will buy it. They will embrace it. And that's why I think it's important for these people to do it. So I hope they do it at some point. The one company that's done it is the one I've got right here, and that is Catfish Pro. I know I look like Vanna White with this thing. Can't see it real good. It's black. Got a little anodized stuff here. Catfish Pro has done a good job of creating a brand, rods and reels, catfish specific. The one thing they don't do, at least not at this point, has diversified out into other species. It's catfish. They sell bait, they sell tackle, hooks, rods, reels, and most of all, it comes in a package deal. They got some package deals now on their rod and reels. This is actually one of them. What do they call this? The Fishing for Fun 2 Catfish Pro reel. You can actually get this in a combo at Walmart. It's a affordably priced rod and reel combo, and they're targeting the people who maybe don't want to spend as much money as you're going to spend on a Catch the Fever rod, a Hellcat, or a Mad Katz rod. They're going to want to spend a little bit less, and they've done a good job of targeting those people and getting that stuff out there. And you can go to their website. You can order it off the website too, catfishpro.com. I'll put you a link down in the description where you can check some of this stuff out. Yeah. It's always good to go look at this stuff and see what all they got. They've got a spinning reel that they come out with, and this is kind of some of the new stuff that's not the rumor stuff. This is the real stuff. This one's pretty cool. Gonna do a video on this one. I have not even spooled it up yet. It does have a bait feeder on it, which is nice. A lot of people are intimidated by round reels and casting them. I get it, and just don't want to have the frustration of dealing with them. There's some advantage to these, but if you're a casual fisherman, maybe somebody who just doesn't want to invest the time, these spinning reels work great. And this one that came out by Catfish Pro, good reel. It's a 600 STS, probably in that 5,000, 6,000 class of spinning reel. Gonna have all the line capacity you need, drag. I'm gonna do some videos on this because I know people are interested in spinning tackle. I say all that to say, Catfish Pro fills that void. They were at ICAST this year, and I'm going to talk about another vendor that was there. When you go to ICAST, it's the biggest fishing show in the world, and if you don't know anything about it, I mean, you can't just walk into it. It's not like going to the Catfish Conference, which we're going to talk about in a minute too, and you buy stuff. It's for vendors, it's for people selling stuff, manufacturers, and the media. I was there as a media member through the YouTube channel. And it's, like I said, you don't go to buy stuff. But I say all that to say, there are people that have rods, reels, saltwater tackle, tons of bass tackle. All the major electronics people are there. Lowrance, Humminbird, everybody's there. But there were very few catfish specific vendors that were there. Catfish Pro was one of them. Dragon Masters were there. And I think, unless I missed somebody, that's about it. Now, there were people that had, some cross-pollination going in there. B&M was there with their rods. They have catfish rods. Gamakatsu's there, but, they sell hooks for everything. Nothing really catfish specific. So, the whole point is Catfish Pro was one of the ones that was there. So they're committed to the industry. They're committed to growing it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with them and some of the products they come out with that are endemic to the catfish world. So I think some of these other people, the Mad Katz, the Catch the Fever, they're going to get into the game too. That's kind of like the next evolution. There are only so many rods you can sell. Rods are everywhere. Everybody's got a catfish rod. Everybody makes a cat. I seen some catfish rods the other day that I thought were Mad Katz rods. And I'm like, oh no, this is some other brand, somebody that they've come out with. So, I seen some that were a bright color. I was like, oh, that's one of the Hellcat rods. And I was like, no, some other person that's come out with the. There's a ton of catfish rods. I think we need some of the other little sundry items attached to it, reels being one of them. I think that's the next evolution. So that's part of the reality and rumors. Don't really have a good lie there of something totally false. Mad Katz may be sending me a message here in a minute going, we're not coming out with a fishing reel. I don't know who told you that. Or, Caleb from Catch the Fever may go, I ain't no way in heck I'm jumping into the reel world. We'll find out. So, the tackle side, we'll segue over to that, and then we'll get into the Catfish Conference because that's going to be coming up. Dragon Master was one of the big ones that I seen at ICAST. They were there too. They've got a series of hooks, some dragon rigs, some dragon stuff. That was one of the cool ones for the upcoming year that you're going to see some of my content around. They've got some non-snag things on there I have not really had the chance to work with yet to try out. But I think that's I ain't going to say game changer. It's a different approach to some of the dragging rigs for, and just so y'all understand, I'm saying because I got my southern accent, dragging as in D-R-A-G-G-I-N-G, even though they spell it D-R-A-G-G-I-N. I'm not saying dragon like fire-breathing dragon from mythology or something. So they're not changing the game totally, but I will say this, the little whisker biscuit looking thing, and a whisker biscuit is a sight that goes on a bow, just for all you people out there that may be going in a different direction with that. A whisker biscuit is this little whisker thingy that's round, and it's got little whiskers, hairbrush type things on it. They got a dragging thing that actually was pretty amazing. I showed some video of it last year after ICAST. It showed this thing, and this is Dragon Masters that came out with this thing. They got some weedless hooks, and if any of the guys from Dragon Masters happen to watch this, I love the hooks. I actually like the weedless hook. The only thing I did was I took a razor blade and I cut the weedless guard off of it. I like the hooks. I don't have a need for the little wire on there that keeps weeds and grass out of it. So I cut it off and used it without it. The hooks are good. They got a good gap on them. They're a good size. I think they gave me some 8/0 and 10/0 hooks. So I don't know if y'all sell them without the weed guard. Hint, hint, bit of advice, start selling them without the weed guard because I think they're pretty cool hooks and they were working great. An interesting evolution. We'll move over to another one that I'm switching around some stuff on and kind of bring people up to date on this is the drifting weights that I use. I've always been using the slinkies. Trying to see if I had one laying around the desk here. I don't. The little slinky drifting weights. And for a long time, I used some from a guy that was making them down in South Carolina. And there are links to them in all my old videos. And something happened. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know that he's still making the weights. I don't know that he's still around. I started getting emails from people. And, they were like, can't get a hold of him, don't know where he's at, tried emailing, tried calling, and I'm not sure if anything happened to him, if he got out of business, moved on, or whatever. I wish him well. I hope he's okay. But I found somebody else that was making weights, Carolina Lake weights, and you're going to see some of those in some videos coming up. Another similar design to the sinkers that I was using, and you're going to see some of those. I'm seeing more of those start to pop up. I'm a bigger fan of flexible drift weights. Now, I think probably for everybody out there, there's so many different bodies of water out there and the way the bottom structure is. And there's a lot of people making solid ones. Maybe something like this that has a bend to it and, tubes and all that kind of stuff. They probably work. They work great. I've used some. I've used some of the drifting sticks before, and they seem to work great. Some of them have rattles inside of them. My take on it is, for me and the way I fish, I like the most flexible weight in the smallest package I can get it into. I don't like having a big chunk of something dragging through there. I don't know that it necessarily spooks fish, but I just feel better having something smaller. These Carolina Lake weights seem to work good. There's some other stuff out there on the market. You're going to see some other stuff popping up around, and I think it's going to get confusing is what I'm getting at. So, but the Carolina Lake weights out there, you're going to see those. So, and you'll see all this stuff at CatCon, and we'll talk about that real quickly here before CatCon 24, February 23rd and 24th. It's in Louisville, Kentucky again. It's where it's been forever, and it's the catfish industry show. Fishing show, and I think it's actually I'm Steve Douglas, please forgive me, but I think it's Catfish and Crappie Conference now, or Crappie as they say up there. They've expanded a little bit to include some of the crappie fishing vendors, however y'all pronounce it. It changes day by day with me. I go all over the place on where I say it, but they've got all that tackled. And this is a purchase show. This is where you can attend, just like any fishing show, and you can buy stuff. So some of y'all, have been, you know what it's about. Some of you are wondering what it is. But it's out there at the Expo Center. And pretty much, I looked at the list recently of everybody showing up, and it's back to 100%. During that whole COVID phase, things were crazy, man. I mean, it was, the 1 year, I think in 21, they did it online. It was like an online show, and then 22, they were back and kind of getting up to speed. Last year, it was back 100%. So that is coming up. That is the show if you're wanting to buy any of the stuff that I've been talking about here. It will be there. Dragon Masters is going to have their stuff there. If they don't have a booth, they'll have it with a vendor like Tackle Bandit or somebody else. Tackle Bandit will basically take their entire store and have it set up there with all this stuff. All these rod people, Catch the Fever, will have a huge selection. Every one of these rods in all these different colors. I think they added yellow and blue maybe to the spread of Hellcat rods, but the real companies will be there with their stuff. A lot of the stuff is sold through vendors that are there through people like Tackle Bandit, some of the other tackle vendors there. There'll be boats. There's also boats going on there that you can look at, different catfish boats. The Palmetto Cats will be having his Golden Whiskers award show there. It's where creators in the YouTube world, content creators, for best takedown, biggest channel catfish, all that kind of stuff. They'll be having a show there that you can actually attend and watch, which will be pretty cool. So lots of stuff. I'm not sure if I'm going to be there yet. There's some stuff going on schedule-wise with me that may prohibit me from getting there. So we'll see what happens, and we're going to know that answer as we get closer to it. But CatCon will have all this stuff, and you can look at it. If you're looking at rods, all these rods are there. There are just tons of them. And the greatest thing is you don't have to pay the shipping on them. The thing that kills people on a lot of these rods and a lot of this stuff is you have to pay shipping. And when you get them shipped to you, got that big tube, all that packaging, it ends up costing you about $25. If you buy one rod, you're going to pay $25 more for it. The bad part is if you buy 5 of them, you're only going to pay $25 more for it. So there, you don't have to deal with it. The biggest thing is you can pick one of these rods up and look at it and feel and see if you like that rod. It may be a Muddy River catfishing rod that you like better and the way it looks and the way it feels. It may be a Mad Katz because of all the colors that are on there. It may be one of the Hellcats because of the strength that you get out of the rod. It's all there. And all this stuff, Catfish Pro, I'm pretty sure is going to be there with the booth and display. You can see all of their stuff. So make some plans, February 23rd, 24th. I think every year it's the last weekend of February is when they've always had it. And no plans to have any other catfish conferences anywhere. People always ask, do one here, do one there. It's very hard to have multiple shows like this around the country. One, it's hard on the vendors. A lot of these vendors are not in it full time, or if they are, it ties up a lot of resources to travel around. There's a big cost for somebody like Catch the Fever to drive in from North Carolina, rent a house, motel rooms, whatever, house all your staff that are coming out there, pay the per diem for food and everything else and get all the stuff there. It's costly. And, doing one every month in a different place is a big overhead expense, especially when you're doing that in addition to having a, brick and mortar store somewhere and selling stuff. So there's kind of a lot to it. So anyway, that's kind of the stuff. We're going to do another podcast. I was going to put it in on this one, but I'm not. I'm going to do a separate one maybe next week. And that's going to be on the tournament world and the tournament, catfish tournament rumors, lies, and mistruths or something like that. There's some stuff going on in the catfish tournament world that's going to be worth talking about, and I think it's worth just dedicating a totally separate podcast to that, so we can focus on that. I know your head's probably spinning on some of this stuff already, a lot of stuff to chew on and ingest, but it's going to be an interesting year. I think it's going to be a good year for the catfish world. I think the catfish world is at a plateau, to be perfectly honest. I think I don't see as much growth and expansion and bringing people in as there was coming up to COVID. Maybe a little bit after. It seemed like there's a peak. So I don't think you're going to see as much innovation. I think you're going to see your vendors that are established, like the Hellcat Catch the Fever folks, expand. The Catfish Pro, I think, established. You're going to see those people expand their footprint of what they have and what they're doing. I think the new players, it's going to be tougher to get into. I think some of these established brands are going to be hard to compete again, especially since most of the people coming in are, one, short on money, and two, short on innovation. Even the established brands are pretty much short on innovation. There's just not a lot of innovation to take place. Innovation takes money, and I don't think a lot of people have the money to do that in the catfish space. So that's my take on it. That's the topic of another podcast that we can get into later. I'd like to have a guest on here to discuss that one, so I think that would be interesting. But that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you guys out on the water.